markets today. It was a good day on the bourses. From the word go, the Asian markets and the Indian markets were in the green. But towards the last hour of trading, as news came in that the Greek politicians are still looking for a deal with the European Union, the markets took off, and actually the heavyweight indices, Sensex and Nifty, ended with over 0.5% gains, and the mid-cap ended with 1.2% in terms of gains. The advanced declines were at least 3 stocks in the green for 1 in the red. So a comfortable day of trading for the bulls. Now to some news from the initial public offering space. The country's most successful airline is all set to land on Dalal Street. Kritika Saxena, who has been tracking the Indigo story very closely, is joining us with all the details. Kritika.
Well, remember, we were the first to report that Indigo will be filing DRHP for an IPO on the 30th of June. Now, we do understand that the details have been firmed up. A DRHP is likely to be filed any minute now. What I understand from my sources is that the deal is divided into 2 parts. So the IPO essentially will be divided into 2 parts. One will be a fresh funding and one will be an OFS, or an offer for sale. Now, what I understand is the fresh funding will bring in around $200 million into the company, and the offer for sale, that is essentially existing shareholders selling some stake, should be also roughly around $200 million. I understand it should be at least 30 million shares on offer, according to my sources. The valuation will be significantly higher than what we were expecting. We understand from our sources that the valuation is likely to be pegged at above $3 billion. So that is way higher, and that's the pre-IPO valuation. I haven't been able to confirm that one number individually, but yes, we do understand that any minute now the DRHP will be filed.
Hang on there, Kritika. There's another story that you've been tracking very closely today. Why has Gartner cut the spending forecast for the current calendar year?
Well, this is a negative for IT industry as a whole, not any specific company. So, Gartner had earlier predicted that the overall IT spending for calendar year 2015 is likely to be to decline by about 1.3%. Now they say that the IT spending will decline by 5.5%. The reason for that, they say, is that the dollar volatility has been significant, and owing to that, vendors are now raising prices to protect costs and margins, owing to which clients have slashed down their spending significantly. This could pick up by the second half of the year, but for now things remain bleak. In terms of what sectors, IT services are expected to see a fall of around 4.3%. So that's what really will impact IT companies. And communication services will see the sharpest fall at 7.2%. Not much of an impact, but the IT services bit is important. And largely it means that the worry that we were seeing in the IT sector is now pretty much getting real.
Thanks a lot for that, Kritika. A number of other stocks were buzzing in trade today. Let's go across to Mangala Malu for that list. Mangala.
Well, indeed, thanks a lot for that. Among the stocks that were in focus today, we start with Brigade Enterprises. That one gained about 11% in trade today, as the company is set to acquire around 15.86 acre worth property in Chennai from Kansai Nerolac at around 550 crore rupees. The management of Brigade Enterprises spoke to CNBC TV18, and they said that the purchase will be funded via internal accruals. In fact, Kansai Nerolac management also spoke to CNBC TV18, and they say that they will use the money raised to fund the expansion of their Gujarat plant. Deep Industries was another stock in focus today, a small company but up around 13.5% in trade today after the company signed a contract with ONGC for 3 years for about 280 odd crore rupees. Ken and Vedanta were in focus. In a CNBC TV18 exclusive, it is said that Ken Energy may seek a more favorable swap ratio for the Ken Vedanta merger. Texmaco Infra also gained in trade today, as Saroj Poddar, the promoter, bought additional about 7.7 lakh shares from the open market. A couple of stocks in focus on account of promoters releasing pledge. Gen Irrigation gained 4% as the promoters released pledge on 25 lakh shares on June 26, while Time Technoplast also gained in trade today after the promoter released pledge around 1.1 crore shares on June 29th. And it's the last day of trading for June, and a couple of stocks in focus. The septuagenarians, or rather septuagenarians, both of them gained 70% in June. Nitin Spinners and Indorama Synthetics were in focus. With that, back to you.
Thanks, Mangalam, for that. Pharmaceutical stocks were in focus today on the back of several announcements. Ekta is here with a wrap of all the news. Well, there were a bunch of pharmaceutical stocks that were in focus on account of news today. I'll start with Marksans Pharma, where they announced a 100% acquisition of TimeCap Labs for $28 million in an upfront payment. Now, TimeCap Lab is a zero-debt company with an average annual sales of $30 million generated over the past 4 years. It has an EBITDA of around $4 million, and the management said that it is a timely acquisition which will help in terms of making inroads in the US markets. Remember, they are basically involved in solid dosage in the US markets. The transaction, as per the management, will also be EPS accretive. Separately, talking about the FCCB news, Marks & Pharma said that 99% of the FCCB on their books is now retired. Glenmark Pharma was in focus as well. The company received US FDA nod for a cholesterol drug, Zetia generic. And remember that Merck is the innovator of the drug. Glenmark, as per the settlement that they had with Merck, can launch the drug in December 2016, and then they'll have 134 days of exclusivity on the drug. The market size of this drug is around $2 billion, and it is estimated that Glenmark can generate anywhere between $200 to $240 million in that 134 days of exclusivity, and the company, however, will have to share its profit equally with Pharma. Credit Suisse wrote on Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's and Cadila. A couple of takeaways from the note that they wrote include that on Sun that they've taken price increases of 6 of Ranbaxy's branded products in the US in May 2015. The price increase, according to them, could boost sales and EBITDA by $45 million on an annualized basis. Dr. Reddy's in focus. They've taken a 15% increase in terms of prices for sumatriptan auto-injector on the 2nd of June. It's a drug used for migraines. The impact of the recent product calls or recalls, according to Credit Suisse, should be low because the Bachupalli plant, from where the drugs have been recalled, were cleared in terms of an FDA inspection in April 2015. Lastly, Cadila, Credit Suisse wrote that IMS shows that Cadila has maintained sales run rate of a particular arthritis drug, HCQS, and that could boost Cadilla's FY16 EBITDA by 10%.
We had a lot of other prominent CEOs on the channel today as well. Let's get you some corporate news actually. First up is Gammon Infra's Mr. Mohanty. Gammon Infra rallied nearly 20% today after the company was allowed to begin offshore ro-ro operations, as they are called, at the Mumbai port. Here's what the CEO Mohanty had to say.
We are likely to enhance the tariff by 25 to 30%, and so it will take it to around 135 crore, plus the traffic growth expected is around 10-15%. So the total potential for the revenue is 150 crore, out of which 55% will go to Mumbai port and the balance 45% will remain with us if we are able to reach that level of operation.
And as Ekta pointed out, Marks & Pharma also rallied 8% after that company acquired 100% in Time Cap Labs for $28 million. Mark Saldanha, the CEO of the company, spoke to CNBC TV 18 and explained why it was a timely acquisition.
It's a zero-debt company. It actually offers Marks & an ideal platform to expand its operations in the U.S. actually, it's pretty much a strategic acquisition which helps Marks & to expand its manufacturing capabilities and product portfolio and penetration into the U.S. on all fronts.
Right. That was Mark Saldanha, the chairman of Marks & Pharma. Time now to take a check on what the big brokerages are betting on. Agam Vakil is here with that list. Agam.
Thanks for that. First up, we have Morgan Stanley on Coal India, where we see the price target has been increased to 530 from 449. And Morgan Stanley believes that Coal India is transforming into a new company where they are better positioned for growth with lower volatility with respect to its peers. And based on that, the Morgan Stanley is more convinced about its volume growth as well as pricing power. Moving on, we also have a positive call when it comes to CLSA on HDFC, where they maintain a buy and they've also put their price target at around 1500. And they are of the opinion that while there might be some concerns with the first quarter's top line, that core operating income should surprise positively. Moreover, they're also the opinion that they see continued momentum in retail mortgages as well as incremental spreads, which will improve over a matter of time. And that's also the reason why CLSA is very positive on HDFC. Finally, a bearish view coming on Voltas, that is from Nomura, where they have downgraded the stock to reduce from buy, and they also cut the price target to around 265. And this is on the back of the fact that Nomura feels that their dealer check suggests some cooling off in room air conditioning sales, and this could lead to a risk of market share loss as well as margins contraction, which is also the reason why Nomura is turning slightly bearish bearish on this particular counter. And that's what we have in terms of some of the brokerage views for today.
Thanks a lot for that, Agam. And on that note, we call it a day on markets today. Thanks for watching.